After his Bais, yes? Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mamshich, so he gave the Akdama till Perek Yud Aleph. A summary, and of course there's always Chidushim in the summary. Mamshich Lachas Perek Yud Aleph, he continues in Perek Yud Aleph, Levayr, Ben Yoser, and to explain deeper, already having established in Ois Yud, Dingen of Tzivas Hashem, and the three Taichin, three meanings: time, Hiskalulus, unity, and soldier. So now he continues in Perek Yud Aleph, and that's the avodah that's required to bring about the Shechina Lamata and to make this world a Mishkan for Hashem. So he's Mamshech in Perek Yud Aleph, deeper, Mashisol, Yikra Hashem Tzivus Havayah, and explains the Shem Tzvokos of Shem Kodesh. That's the Machlekes in the Gemara, but the halacha is that Shem Tzvokos is one of the 7 holy names. As the Rambam Paskins, he brings in order 28, it's one of the 7 names that one may not erase. Shem Zen is Gale the Nevi'im, and it was the Nevi'im that began to refer to Hashem this way. The B'Torah and Yizkar Shem Tzvokos in Torah itself, Shem Tzvokos is not mentioned. What is mentioned? Nikra Rak Tzivus Havayah, Yidden are called hosts of Hashem, which the Maamer explains actually invokes and is connected and reveals Shem Tzvokos on a higher level, indeed, than was revealed later by the Nevi'im. And the intermediary stage, Tzvokos itself, Yeshua, as the Maamer will explain. But Ad Kal L'Shenoi V'Koyal Yisrael, that we find that Tzivus Hashem is found in Torah in connection to Yidden. So now Rebbe elaborates. There's an inherent contradiction in the words of the Maamer of the Frierdiker Rebbe, because first he explains that why Yidden called Tzivus Havayah Sheniska b'Torah. This is found in Torah, Moishe, time of Moshe Rabbeinu, Shayach to Shem Tzvokos or Shem Kodesh. So he makes the association there with Shem Tzvokos. But then he says, Miyad Lachre Zeh Moisef Sheb'Torah Lo Nizkar Shem Tzvokos. In Torah it's not. When it's Galia de Nevi'im. And Shem Tzvokos is revealed only by the Nevi'im. So how can you already associate Shem Tzvokos with Tzivus Hashem, B'mei Moshe, which in Pashtus refers to Yidden, not Hashem. It simply means the hosts of the eternal. Yet he's saying it is Shem Tzvokos, then he said it's not, because that's revealed only by the Nevi'im. The Rebbe explained the Bira Inyan in his Gimmel. It continues now. Now the Maamer continues explaining Shem Tzvokos and says, this is a Medrash Rabbah, says a Medrash Rabbah. He's not answering the question now. Continuing analyzing the Maamer, and then a Bira Inyan. Analyzing and quoting the Ois. First quoting, then analyzing. So the Medrash Rabbah says the Rebbe told Moshe, when Moshe said, the Yidden will ask me, what is your name? What should I tell them? So Hashem, this is by the snare. So Hashem said, Shmiyat Mavakish Leida. You want to know my name? If you might say, I need Nikra, I'm called according to my actions. And when I wage a battle against the wicked, I'm Nikra Tzvokos, I'm called Tzvokos. So the Maamer brings this medrash. In this medrash, if you might say Nikra, according to my actions, I am called Yeshnei Yonim Shem Gamin Yonim Avchir. Here too, we've got a problem. We seem to have an inherent contradiction. On the one hand, since I'm called according to my actions, that means it changes. How is that in Hachelef? It changes from one guise to another. I change from one guise to another. Sometimes I refer to by this time, sometimes the other name. So that's the ani the lefi maisai. But the idach yisa chol shem yeshna ani hanikra b'shem zeh. On the other hand, the Maamer Chazal is underscoring that the I is equally present in all of the shemas. Sharini Hashem who shal yodim iskashrim leim Hashem, because when we say Hashem's name in davening or whatever, we're not connecting to the name itself, but the I. So we have to understand this tension of the fi maisai and the ani. And also the question that he just asked, in Torah, Tzivis Hashem, is it Hashem's name or not? Explanation is as follows. In Onorim bin Hashem Lamato, so the Rebbe elaborates explaining the union of Hashem. We see down here, the Chayre, it has no connection to the person himself, to his very identity, his very core being. Number one, alone, it doesn't need a name. The same, then it's a tag, it's a label. If there's another person that wants to have a relationship, it's some connection to him. He calls him by his name, and he turns to the one who called him. But he himself, the person, doesn't need it. So it comes out that the name is very far. It's a label, very external, very unrelated, very distant from that which it labels. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, so you see where he's going. He's going as an explanation to address an inherent contradiction, which is going to be the key to explain the aforementioned contradictions. And it's the very subject, Shemus. However, notwithstanding this observation, that a name is very external, it's explained in Chassidus at length, and it's based on the Shalah. B'mailis, all the Marishan, the Shalah explains it there, and explaining the Mail of Ad Marishan, the Malachim protested Hashem's interest in man, and Hashem said, well, I will demonstrate that he is superior to you, and how so? That he was able to give names to all of the creatures. That was his Maila. Whatever name Adam gave to the living creature was his name. What's the Maila? Just to make up sounds? Child can do that. However, what he was able to see, which the Malachim could not, was the Chayis, that are drawn into this particular creature through the letters of the name. The letters being the Kalim that are Mamshech the Chayis. That's what the meaning of the word letters, Lashon Osa, to come, as in morning has come. To be revealed, to come forth. So, B'chinas Hashem, U'b'nesinas Hashem, and in giving the name by Mechaven Eloisius, he was able to Mechaven, to see the letters. He was able to see the letters, the unique letters, which drew the unique chayus to this particular creature. And so comes out that the name is the whole chayus. This thing only exists and exhibits the properties that it does because of the shame. So it's not only is it not extraneous, it's really it's whole metzius. It's its source. It explains it in Tanya. The name, the holy name of any given thing. It is the keli for the particular chayis that is contracted and invested in this particular creature, giving rise to its whole being, identity, and nature. So the name is the link that connects the Chayis with the object or creature itself. Likewise, a person's name. This is the bond that connects the neshama to fuse and enter the body. Before the neshama descends to the stages of being, you created it, you formed it, you blew it into me. Before that, at the level of its purity, of its pristine, pure state, as a chelik al-kamimal, and even higher in the level of tahira, because we learned in a Maamer. Tahira implies already tumah, pure, in contrast to being impure. But there's even higher levels, that's the etzem mamish, the chelik al-kamimal mamish. So those levels of tahira, and certainly higher, Hari'en Lashem, there's no name, because the name is Akbola. The name is Akbola as the neshama fuses and is contained and becomes one with a particular guf. That's the reason we don't give the name immediately. Obviously, we've decided often what name to give the child, but the minig Yisrael is that you don't. You wait till Kriyas HaTorah. By a girl and by a boy, it's the bris. And that's because the upshot of that is, the downside is, because he didn't have a bris yet, so he's not a keli for the neshama. A girl is born, command the mal yadamya, is born circumcised, so she can give the name right away. That's so the delay is a chsaron, but the delay is a maila. The delay, even for the girl, it's a delay. It's not immediate. It has to be, there's a ceremony. It's not born name. You have to give, we give the name. The maila is because we're acknowledging that the etzem of the neshama is higher than the name. It's a Jewish child. And being a Jewish child is higher than any personal identity, even a holy, sacred identity. So when is the name? He goes into say, V'rak kasher, ha-neshama, it's kasher etzem guf. It's only with the neshama bonds and connects with the guf. Not only about the darge which actually enters, you blow the neshama into be, that for sure needs a shem. Even high madreges, forming created. Even as tahiri, shagam al zen neman shnesata be tahiri. There's the level of tahira which is connected to this body. So he's saying that tahira l'mayla, there's no name, but the level of tahira as it connects to the guf, tahira shenasata bi, has already a union of a name.
So, Rabbi, he's just saying that the B goes on me and the guf right now, and so nasata B is the neshama in the guf.
Yeah. So there's a level of tahira that's in me. So that requires a name. But the atzmistic level of the tahira is higher than the name. Right? So it's like Malchus Atzilus. Malchus as it is in Atzilus is Atzilus. Malchus Atzilus is the descendants in Biyah already has the properties to some degree, the Akbal of Biyah. So the tahira goes in Atzilus. So the level of tahira, pure tahira, doesn't have a name, as the neshama is in tahira. Whereas the neshama, Malchus, which is the neshama, is all collected in Shechina. In Malchus Atzilus, as the neshama descends from Malchus Atzilus and there into Biyah, that's the tahira, Shnasata B, that's already a name. Follow? Is that clear? As a Yeshna in Hashem, then the name is applicable, Shepolosa, and it's necessary and critical, the Kasha Neshama Zu im Guf Zeh. The guf is bakbola, is a limited and unique body with unique character traits, unique nefesh habahamis, unique persona, unique psychology, unique guf. So the neshama has to fuse and become one with, and intimately one with this guf. Therefore, needs to be expressed through Hashem, the name, the particular letters of the name that match another chayis for this guf. And this will explain reincarnation. On the one hand, there's yin of Gilgul, that a sham of one person reincarnates in another. It doesn't have the same name. If it's the whole thing is pure neshama, the person should have the same name. We understand, no. Since it's about the neshama's kesher with this unique guf, it's a different name. Even though the fact that on the one hand the Shem is connected to the neshama, a guf doesn't have a name, a dead body doesn't need a name. A body alone is not an important mitzias that should even be given a name. The name is because it's alive. And what gives its life is the neshama. So then why isn't the name the same, like the first, if it's the same neshama being incarnate? The answer is yes, it's the same neshama, but it fuses and connects to this particular group. But we get to the answer in a second. It's still part of the question. He's going to give an example where we find different names, notwithstanding it's the same neshama. For example, the Rashbi is an example brought in Chassidus Nitzitz Nishmas Moshe Rabbeinu. He was a Nitzitz of Moshe. He has a different name, Rabbi Shimon Yochai. The other is Rav Nun Sova. Rav Nun Sova was also Nitzitz of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's called the Rav Nun the Elder. This is what it's called B'Shem Moshe. It was the Nikar B'Shem Rabbi Shimon. Why? Even though the same neshama, we're talking about the neshama as it fuses with the body. Since the guf is different, it's not the first guf. Another guf. Which raises the question by Tchias Mason, which one's going to get up? The answer is both. And this one great neshama will animate both. And how that works is not for now. I think we spoke about it once. But at any rate, for the name changes as well. Then move on. The whole conclusion now is so relative to the body, what makes it alive? It's the name that connects it with the neshama, like all creations, as all the Mauritian perceived. The name is the keli for the chayis. So the name connects it with the chayis above. We're left with the contrast. On the one hand, the name is profoundly external. I don't need the name. The name is only necessary in relationship with others. If there are no others, therefore no need for a name. On the other hand, the name is the chayis, is the link and draws and is the keli for the chayis of this neshama with this guf. Now applying this to the Eibush Lamayda. That is the from Gam Lamay means Anashim Shenim Chakim. So likewise, the Zayin Shemus. The 7 names that are not the holy names of Hashem, Shalem, Nemar, about which God says, if you Maisa and Nikra, I'm called according to my actions, my behavior. Shin Hashem Wachibud Bechinas Ani Imaisai. That Hashem's name connects the I in the Nimshal, the Neshama, Imaisa with my actions in the Nimshal, just discuss the Guf. Now, elaboration. It's explained in the Kotet Torah, the difference between action, which is the word, is the word or the image that Hashem invokes here, my actions, the machshava, the contrast to machshava, and even we're going to point out a cardinal difference between mais and dibur, and that is, you do an action and it's completely distinct and separate. You walk away and you've left your mark. Thought only exists as long as you are thinking. I feel like dibu, even speech. Speech is much more forcefully bound up with a person than action. He doesn't bring it here, but elsewhere in Chassidus it brings, because the speech only exists as long as I'm speaking. Maybe it doesn't mention that because you can record the speech. But then we say that's not my speech, it's a simulation of my speech. But the point is, I say the words, they're not mine anymore. You've got them on some level. So there is, it moves away from the person, but much more intimate, of course. Further than machshava, but much closer than ma'aseh. Therefore, it's called a small action, which is why you have to say the words when you daven, because it's also considered an action, but a small action. Meaning, on the one hand, there is this separation. I've said the word, and the word is out there. Literally, the sound waves. I produced it, and they're out there, and they enter your, actually, begashmis, and it takes time. They enter the listener's ear, and the ear vibrates, and you hear the sound. So I produced something that's gone away from me, but it's obviously much more bound up with me than an actual action. The mark is left, period. The words are heard, and then they disappear. The sound waves travel and eventually dissipate. So the point is that Ma'aseh is mamish, as he goes on to say, that when the fashioner, the artisan, the tzoref, the one who makes pottery, makes from clay pottery, it's called the tzoref. It also applies also to silver and other things. But when he walks away from the vessel, he's quoting out the Rebbe here. The vessel doesn't need the hands of the potter to shape it. Even though his hands have been removed, the vessel remains. It's a direct quote. Like he writes in Tanya. Because why? Because it's yesh me'yesh, not yesh me'ayin. The power of action, which of the artisan, of the artist. So it separates from the artisan, and yeshna b'metzias hakeli b'anifa, and it's in the vessel, the keli. He's invested his talent. His talent is there now, separate from the one who made it. By speech, so he's saying when he makes the vessel, the distance of the person, that's the point I said, the distance of the person doesn't weaken the vessel. It's there, the person could die, and it's still there. In speech, another way when I speak it, the further the speech emanates out of you, it weakens, dissipates, the sound waves spread, till it's no longer audible as speech. Human speech, unlike divine speech, it's not eternal. Only the Eibishter can grant his speech and does, and is his speech and his thoughts are eternal. So therefore, applying now this to the Lamaila, Hashem says, if he ma'isayani nikra, what's the Eibishter saying? Is moving gamma geling in a ma'isa. Lamaila shari dibra teriklashem leodam. Torah speaks in metaphorically in the language of man, deliberately, in order to point out the parallel. Shazel inyan shenase ki ilu nifrat. Ki ilu. The Eibishter is saying, I am called according. I am present even in that which I produced that appears to be separate from me. like your Maisa. And that's what the Chiddush here. That even if you Maisa and Yinikra should be in our Maisa, that even in the Maisa, in that which externally to appearances of creation, it's something separate. Ani, I am there. And this is exactly what Hashem does. That connects the Chayz Dani with God's particular expression, action, Lamata Maisa, active Chesed, active Gvura, different ways that God behaves Kavayochel with respect to His creation.
So why do we say that it's Dafka Lamaila, Lamata too? When a person does a piece of art, you say, "Oh, it's Picasso." Why do you think Dafka Lamaila, the Maisa, is the shame is connected to the Maisa? Why can't we say that also by a person, by Lamata?
So it's true. You look at the action, and what you can do is you can trace it. Who could have done such a thing? Picasso. But Picasso is not there. Picasso is long dead, and his paintings live on. He's not present in the Maisa. The Chiddush L'Maila is that Eibishter is actively and constantly present in the Maisa. It's not separate at all. Whereas here, it's only indicative. And the truth is, you can forge it. You can do the same action, and it's not Picasso. You could make an absolutely, accurate replica. The mice is there, but it's not even his. But the main point is that he's created it. It's his signature. Even if it's unique, and no one could replicate this. But it's still not him. It's his signature. He's God. Schenken the Eibishter is present in his mice. Let's finish the next paragraph. Yeah? So the Maamer says, "Beneged Shem Tzvokos." It's true of all Shemus, but he zeroes in on Shem Tzvokos. And as we learned, what's unique about Shem Tzvokos is that the Ani in Shem Tzvokos is direct. Because Midat HaNitzocha is nothing other than to carry out the desire of the Etzem of the Ani. Whereas the other names, the Ani is there, but filtered somewhat. At any rate, let's go further. The given Shalafi Ma'aseni Nikra. So the Rebbe told Moshe Rabbeinu, according to my actions, I'm called Kshani Nilchem B'Marashoim, and Nikra Tzvoka. So when I wage war against the wicked, I'm called Ho, the Lord of Hosts. So what do we see from here? We can move in the Shem Tzvoka. So what is the unique Maisa here? What's God doing when we call him Shem Tzvokas? Who Shem HaMilchama, this is a war. Gilanti, Rabbi Yosef Gilanti, this famous Mekubal, who identifies the Shemus with the various spheres, he says the Shem Tzvokas hu b'netzach v'hoid, and then adds these words. It's quote from him: "Umishom limshoches kol ha'milchama shebayla." All of God's wars, but I guess all wars are heavenly orchestrated. So all wars are from Shem Tzvokas. So the Maamer says, continues, a question, if you think it Rebbe. We have to understand what's the connection? Why is Milchama connected Dafka to Netzach V'Hoid? That all Milchama, all true Milchama, Maila Lamata, is all rooted and connected directly with Netzach V'Hoid. Mevayim explains, because victory, which is what Midat HaNetzach means, Natua u'mushush be'etzem ha'nefesh l'mala yosim v'kol ha'keichas ha'glim she'b'nefesh. Midat HaNetzachim is Natua planted, u'mushush rooted, in etzem ha'nefesh, deeper than all of the other manifested levels, Seichel and Midas, etc. As we will go on to explain. L'havim b'Mek Yosef in the next ice. Or should we go further? It's possible to my modem still to learn. Huh? One more paragraph or not?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Good.
Please.
Yeah.
Continue. And we don't have to learn the next Maamer. We have to finish this Maamer properly. And let's whatever we are, let's complete it.
I think we are obligated to learn all the Maamorim that were given out for this. We do.
True. And we can learn it till Purim too, if we have to learn it.
Okay. We have to give a bone to Nefesh Maamer also. Some of us. So to understand this even deeper, and this will understand further. The Maamer Shem Tzvok is Shu b'midas hanetzach shemagas betzma nefesh. The Shem Tzvok is expressive of the mid of netzach, which touches, reaches, literally. In Netzma Nefesh, to understand this deeper, so we're going to introduce the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov with respect to the Zayin Shemus, which we already spoke about earlier. And we brought the Tzemach Tzedek. We did not. I'm mixing to my Morim. No, I'm mixing the previous Maamer. So we're starting again afresh the subject. There's a contradiction between what the Baal Shem Tov says about the Zayin Shemus and Kisvei Arizal. So there it's written as follows. He makes a distinction. The difference between the Zayin Shemus is only the Kelim. It's only the vessels that are different. There's differentiation. Shem kel b'chesed, Shem elakim b'gvura, Shem tzvok is b'netzach v'hoid. The other names, Shem nimchakim. Sorry. The Pnimis HaSvira says the Arizal. The Pnimis, the Hainu ha'oida shel HaSvira is chayohi, which is Shem Havaya, who b'chol HaSvira is b'shove. That's all Sviras equally. Okay, this is important. Shem Havaya is pure oil, no keli. And it's Shem Havaya is the Shem Ha'etzem of all of the Shemus. That's what's called Shem Ha'etzem. It's not just called Shem Ha'etzem, the explicit name of God, but the essential name, because it's no limitation at all, as implied by the name, Eternal One. That's what it means, the Eternal One, eternal being, hinted to in Haya, Hayva V'yiyah, past, present, and future, all fused in one word, Yud Kei Vav Kei. So that says that that's the Shem Ha'etzem. That's the Oyer of Hashem, the Oyer himself. And it is that which is present in every Keli, in the different Keli. As you mentioned, Ramak's mashal of water in colored glasses. The water is a mashal for the Shem Havaya or the Oyer, and the colored glass are the Kelim. So looking at the water through the glass, it has the appearance, the water, of a particular color. That's how it manifests. But Ba'etzim it's not. The water remains pristine and pure, translucent, without any color. And that's present, the Shem Havaya, the Oyer, is present equally in all of the Sviras, the different Shemus. That's the Vart of who? Of the Arizal. The Choritz contradicts what the Baal Shem Tov said. On the Baal Shem Tov Mavayer, says the Baal Shem Tov shekivin shekavana b'zayin Hashem shenim chokim shemaskirim b'tfilim. Says the Baal Shem Tov, this is the whole quote. It's at the end of the quote we have the problem. Says the Baal Shem Tov, since the kavana, when we say the seven names, we say in davening, the kavana, our intent, who are we addressing, who are we talking to? Leila Sviris, we're not talking to the Sviris. Ela Elav Yizbarach, but to the Eibush himself. Gemaim Barazal, it says in Sifri. Apostle B'chol Koreinu Elav, whenever we call upon him, says the Sifri, Elav, calling upon him. But Leila Midoisav, not to his midas, not to his attributes. Continues the Baal Shem Tov, therefore you must say, so what are these different names? Look, the different names that we mentioned, Davin Kela, Likim Tzvokos, That's because of the different oiris in the spheres. The highness slapshus oir b'spheres achesed. We're talking about the slapshus of the oir in chesed, oir b'spheres agvura, oir b'spheres netzach v'hoid, as explained in the Likutei Torah in the Sofos. So what's a contradiction? That the Arizal says it's all equal, all the same. Hashem is saying that the oir and the spheres are different. Taka the oir, but a different oir in the spheres. That is also it's all Shem Havaya. You can't apply the 7 names to the oir. The 7 names only apply to what? To the Keli. But Baal Shem Tov is saying he slapshus oiris basviris. He slapshus. So he's saying it's the Sviris themselves, the oir in the Sviris, they themselves are what we are addressing when we say these names.
Rabbi,
we learned the answer already to this. Huh?
Yeah, isn't this a bit different from the first time where he said it's the chayas of the Sviris?
No, that's going to be the answer. That's the answer. He means the chayas in the Sviris. It's saying the same thing, just a more elaboration. And that's Moshe Shekei Chagvol, even higher than that, is all they say. So we'll leave that for tomorrow. It's revisiting. L'chura, it's the same hasbara, more elaborate. So we'll see that tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, yeah?